listening to the radio and I was looking around me, I came to realize that Christmas has become a commercial event. It's not that I didn't notice it before, but it was really impressed on me today that it's become a commercial event that is described as vital to the economy. That if people don't spend money at Christmas, merchants will die. And so the whole push is get out there and spend money, get out there and spend money. And I hear very, very little of the spiritual element or the reason for Christmas. We don't celebrate Labor Day by going out and buying manufactured goods. We don't celebrate Easter by celebrating the resurrection as much as, egg hunts and get a new dress and this and that. And just the economic necessity of Christmas has so stripped away the spiritual meaning that we forget that our hope is not in gain, but our hope is in God. And part of that, I think, is we forgot what hope actually means. Yes. I'm sure some of you, as I did, spent much time yesterday in hope. Hope that my team would prevail. Go Dogs. Hope that the other's team would fail. But the hope is kind of wish projection. Hope is something I would like to happen, but if it doesn't happen, oh well, but I'm hopeful. I'm full of hope. I hope this and I hope that. But for a Christian, that is not what hope is. Hope is something totally different. And if you see on the screen this morning, Joe, if you'd run the next slide, a good definition of hope is this. Hope is confident expectation. It's something that you know will happen, but you have to wait for it. It's a surety. It's an established fact that just hasn't happened yet. Much like when you got engaged and you set a date and you knew it was going to happen. You were just preparing for it, but you had a confident expectation. You hoped the wedding would happen. Now, it doesn't mean you were hoping that your girl wouldn't find a better guy, that you were hoping that the hall for the reception would be available. You were hoping that the church would be available. It's funny, weddings used to be, you booked the church and the preacher, and then you found a place for the reception. Now you have to book the reception and hope you can find a preacher in the church that fits into the schedule of the reception hall. It's just one of those things that have changed. But this hope that one day something might happen or come to pass is not Christian in any way, shape, or form. It's a confident expectation. Yes. And one of the reasons that we celebrate Mary so much is she had this. Again, I've asked you to turn to Luke. Please read along with me. I'll start at verse 1 and then I'll skip some and we'll pick it up again. Luke chapter 1, verse 1. Inasmuch as many have undertaken to compile a narrative of the things that have been accomplished among us, this is Luke's preface to his gospel, just as those who from the beginning were eyewitnesses and ministers of the word have delivered them to us, the church, the believers, in Luke's case, the apostolic band, the band of disciples, it seemed good to me, Luke says, also, having followed all things closely for some time past, to write an orderly account for you, most excellent Theophilus, that you may have certainty concerning the things you have been taught. So Luke has collected eyewitness accounts. Luke, who's a physician, who's a scientist, has collected eyewitness accounts, and he says, I'm going to put this down in an orderly fashion. And what he says is, not every gospel is historically, chronologically correct. Some are thematic. John's is very thematic. But Luke is saying, I'm going to write an historical account. It's going to be point A to point B. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to compile the eyewitness accounts that have come to me because he wants to persuade this man Theophilus of the truth of the gospel, that these things really happen. Yes. And so he's setting it down. But this is why, it says in verse 4, that you may have certainty, that you may have hope concerning the things that have been taught. So he's writing to Theophilus in order to convert him, and he's doing it in such a way that there's a certainty that he can have a confident expectation, a hopeful looking forward that these things are in fact true and will come to pass, and he can hang his life on that.